Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andi Fatmiah Utami. I'm from Group 1. I would like to present and explain about what is verbal communication and the characteristic of language. Verbal communication defined as the use of our language while communicating with others. We exchange language through email, phone, or even face-to-face. During our verbal communication, we shift grammar, word choices, and even the entire language itself. The first step toward improving our verbal communication is to deepen our understanding to the nature of language. Scholars suggest that language has 5 fundamental characteristics. The first is language is symbolic. Whenever we use language to represent other things that considered as symbols. In verbal communication, words are primary symbols that we use to represent objects, events, people, and ideas. The second characteristic is language is governed by rules. When we use language to verbally communicate, we follow rules. Rules govern the meaning of the words, the way we arrange the words into phrases and sentences, and the order in which we exchange words with others during our conversations. There are 2 kinds of rules. The first is constitutive rules, which define the meaning of the word, and then the second is regulative rules, which govern how we use language when we verbally communicate. The third characteristic of language is that language is flexible. Many people Also, all language have constitutive and regulative rules. People often bend those rules. For example, many people, especially those in close relationships, generate personal idioms. Personal idioms here means that words and phrases that have unique meanings within their relationships. And then the fourth is language is cultural. Language and cultures are fused in fundamental ways. Language is the set of symbols that members of a culture create to communicate their thought, beliefs, attitudes, and values with one another. And then the last is that language evolves. Many people view language as fixed, but in fact language constantly changes. A particular language constitutive rules, which define the meaning of the word, may shift. As time passes, people add new words and phrases into their language and discard the old ones. Other times, the speaker of a language borrow words and phrases from other language and incorporate them into their own. Okay, I think that's all my explanation about what is verbal communication and the characteristic of language. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, now we will talk about function of verbal communication. So there are 6 functions of verbal communication that is mentioned in this chapter. The first one is sharing meaning. So verbal communication is used for sharing meaning. It's a tool of people to use to share their thought, their perception, what they want to say to other people. So in this chapter also talk about 2 meanings, mention 2 meanings, that is denotative and connotative, that we always use in verbal communication. So for denotative meaning is the literally meaning of the words, and for the connotative meaning is the meaning that have implied to something. For example, if people if two people made a conversation like this, asking the boy asking the girl, do you love him? And the girl said, I don't love him, but not yet. That means the girl maybe the girl don't love her new boyfriends yet, but maybe someday or sometime or next time we will the tone like, I'm not love, I don't love him, not yet. So that means belum. In bahasa we say belum, who knows. So next is about shaping thought. So verbal communication is used to shape our thought, shape our perception, make our perception. So in this case, we could say that, like, for example, uang panai in South Sulawesi, the price of uang panai is blah blah blah, sekian sekian sekian, and that's what we know. But in the other side, in the other region, there's no such that things. So that's just because of verbal communication is make our mind. So we always hear it, we always get it, we always see it in our circumstance. So that's why that make our thought like that. So imagine when you are moved to another country or to another city, at least you won't find that such a tradition. So you're confused because your mind, your thought is already think about that things. So you will like, seriously, there is no in here. That's why the culture can be made by also from a name or give a code for some objects, some people, some places, or some situation or something like that. You name that. For example, when we come to the December, we always see the Christmas tree all over the road or all over the public places. So we will say that the Christmas tree, but outside of the December, we call it just perch. In bahasa we say pohon cemara. That's because verbal communication. Because of verbal communication, so we can name that Christmas tree, that tree, as a Christmas tree. But if don't use the verbal communication, if there is no verbal communication, we can't name it as that Christmas tree. So that's why the Christmas tree, sorry, the verbal communication for naming, the function is for naming something, object, or anything. So next is about performing action. So why the verbal communication is used for performing action? So this one of performing action is like cursing, cursing. Oh my god, requesting, asking, inviting, give a command, or something like that. So if someone only say yes and no, just only say no. Next is about the last one, managing relationship. So why verbal communication is used for managing relationship? So like what I said before, how can you manage your relationship just only using body language? For make a relationship is intense, you need to talk each other, you need to build a good atmosphere between you and your crush, for example, you and your family. If for example, if you and your family just only sit, I sit here, and my mother, for example, sit in front of me, and we didn't talk anything, we just silent. Can we make our relationship closer? I mean, no. We have to talk. We have to use a verbal communication. We have to utter the words at least like make a conversation, like ask her, what are you doing, mom? And my mom will say, I'm just enjoying my time, for example. That's why we manage the relationship is a function of verbal communication. We can use the verbal communication to managing, to start or to end, like ask her, what are you doing, mom? And my mom will say, I'm just enjoying my time, for example. That's why we manage the relationship is a function of verbal communication. We can use the verbal communication to managing, to start or to end it, our relationship with anyone out there. So that's all the 6 verbal communication function that we discussed in the book. I will show you the book in the first chapter. I have showed you. So next to the another point, we'll explain with my friends. See you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ameliya Ramadhani, and I will explain about cooperative verbal communication. So there are 5 points. First is understandable message. Second is using I language. Third, using we language. Fourth, gender and cooperative verbal communication. And the last is culture and cooperative verbal communication. So first, understandable message. It means we have to speak in a way that other person easily can understand. In order to do that, we have to be informative, clear, honest, and relevant. Informative means that we have to give information that is relevant and appropriate to the situation. Honest means we have to deliver or give the true information, the right information, and not disclosing the false information. The third is relevant. Relevance, that means we have to answer according to what was asked and not avoid it by talking something else. And the last is clear, that we have to speak directly without convolution and not using ambiguous sentences. The second point is using I language. Using I language means we're taking responsibility for what we say, not blame someone else, and emphasize ownership of feelings, opinions, and beliefs. So when we begin our statement or our sentences, or before, when we say something, we begin it with using I. It means that we're taking responsibility about our own feelings, regardless of what another person behave, how another person behave. And third is using we language. Using we language means, like I mentioned earlier about I language, that when we use I language, we're taking responsibility about our feelings, opinions, and beliefs. Then using we language, it helps us to bolster feelings of connection and similarities to people that we want to signal collaborative relationship. And the fourth is gender and cooperative verbal communication. So there are a lot of stereotypes about gender and communication, like for example, men is communicate more clear and straightforward, while women is more like wordy and indirect. And another stereotype is men are less polite, and women are more considerate, and men interrupt more while women listen more carefully. So after a research, that the result is in terms of language. When it comes to language, men and women are more similar than different. So most of that stereotypes that I just mentioned is wrong. Like stereotypes about men communicate more straightforward and women is indirect and wordy. That is not because of gender. That is because the encounter is competitive or collaborative. And the last is culture and cooperative verbal communication. So culture have a big influence in language, because every culture have their own perspective and ideas about what cooperative communication is. So it is quite hard to adapt our language with people from different culture than us. But another theory that people are more motivated to adapt their language when they seek social approval, when they want to establish relationship, or when they think they have to do that, or it's appropriate situation for that. Okay, that's the explanation about immaterial cooperative verbal communication. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Andi Nurul Fatimah. I will explain about barriers to comparative verbal communication. Okay, the material is deception. Deception is when a person personally has misinformation, irrelevant or fake language. Deception can be the beginning to communication. For example, deception can happen when people feel tricked them. Deception is a person's ability to communicate can be influenced by the varies the effect comparative verbal communication, appearance, defensive, and then verbal aggressive. Okay, the next misunderstanding is when one person misperceives another drug feeling or belief as expressed in the other individual. Verbal communication misunderstanding occurs. For example, or discussion of action orients listener. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, I will try to explain to you all about the power of verbal communication. We can't help but marvel at the power of verbal communication. What are our symbolic vehicle for creating and exchanging meanings, performing action, and forging relationship. We use language to all. We use language to use all the surround us, and in turn, the names we have created shape how we think and feel about the things. But for most of us, the power of language is intensely personal, called to mind the most important relationship even in your life. When you do, you will likely find they were not merely accompanied by verbal communication, but were defined and created through it. So verbal communication is very necessary for us, not only establishing communication or exchanging information, but verbal communication is also needed to establish relationship with others. So whatever we say will affect relationship with other people. For example, if we say I don't like you to someone else, it will definitely affect relation with other people. Communicating verbally also means thinking and feeling. For example, after all the things around the news, for example, like you give your friend name, you call your friend princess automatically from a way of thinking me and your friends. If and your friends feelings. Jadi komunikasi verbal ini sangat berpengaruh bagi kita. Tidak hanya menjalin komunikasi atau bertukar informasi, tapi komunikasi verbal ini juga dibutuhkan untuk menjalin hubungan dengan orang lain. Jadi apapun yang kita katakan akan mempengaruhi hubungan kita dengan orang lain. Sebagai contoh, ketika kita mengatakan saya menyukaimu, atau ketika saya mengatakan kepada seseorang saya menyukaimu, maka pasti apa yang saya katakan itu akan mempengaruhi hubungan saya dengan orang tersebut. Jadi komunikasi verbal ini mempengaruhi cara berpikir kita dan perasaan kita. Misalnya ketika saya memberi nama teman saya nama spesial, otomatis pemberian nama saya ini membentuk cara berpikir teman saya terhadap saya, dan perasaannya juga terbentuk. Jadi apa yang kita katakan atau kita berikan kepada orang lain itu, atau komunikasi kita terhadap orang lain itu pasti mempengaruhi hubungan, pasti mempengaruhi cara berpikir kita, perasaan kita, serta hubungan kita dengan orang lain. Jadi makanya terkadang ada yang mengatakan, sering ada yang mengatakan bahwa sikap atau perilaku kalian tergantung dengan cara kalian berkomunikasi dengan orang lain atau perilaku kalian terhadap orang lain. So I think that's all my explanation about the power of verbal communication. Thank you.